Welcome, amazing agents from across the country. Today is, what is today? It is July 11th, 2018, and what mastermind call number is this, Chad? We're coming up on 40, I think, right?
Number 32.
Number 32. Well, that's coming up. It's nearly 40 if you round it off to the next higher number. So this is role play. I tend to do that, guys. I've been accused of slightly exaggerating sometimes. So this is role play call number 32. We appreciate y'all being here. Let's have some fun. Let's stump the coach. Hit *6 and hit 1. What we're primarily looking for are places that you guys are getting stuck. It also could be, things that you imagine are going to be a problem that aren't. A lot of times it's on these calls, it's reasons why the agent isn't picking up the phone, that maybe they don't think they can handle something. So whether it's something you've come across or something you're concerned about, please participate. Just hit *6 and hit 1. We only have one brave person in the queue so far. What was that, Chad?
Yeah, and before we get started, I want to say too, guys, we do on our mastermind call, which is every Thursday at 1 o'clock, we've started a series called Win of the Week. We encourage you to, bring your stories, tell us about the last listing you took or house you bought. But kind of the same thing on this call. Like if you have language that's working, if you have something that, you might have gotten inspiration from us or from these calls and then put your own spin on it, we want to hear those things too, because it's kind of the point of taking the time to do this. It's not just for you guys to listen to us. We can all help each other. So if you've got language that's really effective and it's working well for you, step up and share that as well. It's not just for problems. This can be a positive or negative for them. We obviously want to help you deal with your problems and challenges, but we want all of you to help each other too. So if you've got something that's really effective, please share.
Well said, and we only have one person. Come on, we need some more participation. Hit *6 and hit 1. Somebody's going to stump Chad one of these weeks. Hopefully it'll be one of you today. In the meantime, we still only have one in the queue. Let's go ahead and get to that person. Phone number ending in 6248. You're up.
Good morning. My name is Joyce, and I think I'm going to have to apologize because I have a question, and I don't know how you would role play it.
All right. Well, go ahead. Maybe we can turn it into a role play. Go ahead.
Oh, good. I have been using the MIT study to make sure that I'm using the right days and times to call, and I'm leaving lots of messages with no callbacks. So I'm wondering how many times I call back before I send another letter, or is there a different action I should pursue?
Well, why don't we do this? Yeah, I was just going to say that. Thanks. Go ahead. What message are you leaving?
I'm leaving the one that Chad gave us that says, "Hi, this is Joyce. I sent you a letter last week, so I'm just following up to make sure you got it and you understand why we sent it. Give me a call when you have 5 minutes to chat." Again, Joyce at my number.
And how often are you leaving those, Joyce?
Every day that I'm calling on the MIT study, times and days.
I'm saying for each individual lead, how many times would they get that in a month? Are you calling weekly or are you calling them daily?
Oh, I've been calling weekly.
Okay, so you're leaving one voicemail a week.
And so I'm perplexed as to what the right thing to do next is with them.
Yeah, so that voicemail script is one of dozens that I've tried. That was the one that got me the most callbacks. I would encourage you to keep trying different things if that's not working, and just remember, voicemail is just to get the phone to ring back in the other direction. So you might even be more vague, and just on your subsequent callbacks, just say, "Hey, this is Joyce. Been waiting to hear back from you. Give me a call, 555-1234." And make your first message, I would continue doing what you're doing, and maybe on subsequent messages, shorten it down and give them even less, and just say, "This is Joyce. Been trying to get a hold of you. Give me a shout back." And just be prepared, because if they don't know who you are, they deleted your last voicemail. that when you do that, when you're really vague in voicemail, you can get higher callback rates, but you also have to stay in control of the communication. Like, they're going to be guarded, and they might even be a little bit abrasive on the front. And don't take that personal. Your job is to build rapport with them. So if they call back and they're like, Joyce, you've left me 6 messages. Who are you? Then just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Don't take that personally. I'm like, okay, I expected this. How do I get this to a normal conversation? And, go back and say, oh, well, yeah, listen, I don't ever say sorry, but listen, I've tried to reach out and just hadn't gotten you. I'm really glad you took the time to call me back. The reason I reached out is we built a team of people specifically, and then go into your normal script. But that's what I would recommend. Just try switching up your voicemail and see if you get a different result. And I would say shorter instead of longer to get more callbacks. And
when do I send the next letter?
Well, typically we space our letters out over every 30 days. Hey, Jim, there's a lot of noise on the line. Someone
just walked in my office. Sorry about that. I closed the door.
Typically we're spacing the letters out every 30 days, which gives you a 90-day campaign if you're marketing to. You're sending 3 letters and making 3 calls.
Perfect. I shall try those. And thank you very much again. I'm sorry it's not a role play.
Oh, no worries. It was completely relevant to prospecting. So don't apologize. That was good.
The other thing I would say, the MIT studies are great. It's going to improve your odds, but don't limit yourself to those call times. There's some markets where maybe there's little variations. When I was a realtor and I prospected, I would try somebody during the week 3 times, and then I'd come in on a Saturday at least once a month, Saturday afternoon, and try to catch up on the people that I didn't get during the week. And I think Saturday is one of the call times on the MIT study, right, Chad?
Yeah, I tell everybody, if you throw in, do like a 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday block, and maybe like a 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Sunday block, if you want to look at weekends.
Perfect.
And we've had good, we've had subscribers that reported really good success on their Saturday call blocks. So if you just can't reach people, try that.
I will do that, and thank you. I'll let you know how I do.
All right. Thanks a lot. We have 2 more people in the queue. We got plenty of room for more. Just hit *6 and hit 1. We have 3 more in the queue. Good participation, guys. We appreciate it. Next up is phone number ending in 2848. You're up next.
Hello, this is Danalise Proenza from the Proenza Group, and I just started making the phone calls. This is my first month, and my first connection with one of the personal representatives said straight out, it was almost like she was prepared. We're not making decisions until December. You may call us back then. And
okay, so while we role play that, was there more to that? Why don't you try to follow that exact conversation with Chad and see how we would handle it?
Okay.
You want to do that? Okay. Go ahead.
Sure.
Sorry. And what was your name?
Donna Lee.
Donna? Okay. Ring.
Hello?
Hi, I'm trying to reach Donna.
This is she.
Hey, Donna, my name's Chad. I had sent you a letter a few days ago. I had a couple minutes at my desk. I just wanted to follow up and touch base, make sure you got it, and you understood why we sent it. Do you remember seeing that?
What letter are you talking about?
Well, it was a letter we had sent you. It was probably in an ivory greeting card envelope. It may have looked like a birthday card. Did you happen to see it?
I don't recall seeing that. What are you calling about?
Well, even better, you got me on the phone. I'm calling because we've got a team here locally that we help families that are going through probate. And as part of that, we do our research at the courthouse, and we noticed you were an administrator.
Before you go any further, we're not making a decision on that until December. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Call us back in December.
What do you mean by decisions?
Hello?
What do you mean by decisions?
Hello?
I hear crickets. That's funny.
So did you hang up on me?
Sorry. I'm so sorry. My Bluetooth connected. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm like, what happened? Did he hang up on me?
I thought you were trying to be tough on me. You're like, click.
I'm sorry, I lost you. Can you repeat your objection handler?
Okay, so you left off with what?
I don't want to talk about it anymore. Call us back in December.
You said we're not making decisions until December.
Right.
So to prevent you from hanging up on me, I challenge you with a question back. So what do you mean by decisions?
Well, what we're going to do with everything is too much right now. I don't know what to do. I can't talk right now.
Okay. Well, listen, I understand. That's actually why I'm calling, because I've helped many, many people in your situation. So we reach out early because we can take a lot of that stress that you're feeling off your plate. And worst case scenario, you've got somebody here that has a lot more experience going through what you are than you have. So I was just reaching out to let you know there's somebody here in the community that can help if you are overwhelmed. Would you say you're too overwhelmed to even speak about it right now, or that you just don't trust me because you're thinking I'm just like the other people that have called you?
Well, how can I trust you? I don't know you.
Well, give me an opportunity. Let's chat. I mean, what's if you could get rid of one thing right now that's overwhelming you, what would you delegate?
I don't want to get one more phone call from a creditor or one more phone call about what we're going to do.
Okay. Well, that's the one thing I can't control what other people do, but like as far as the estate goes, I mean, if we can help, what I find is most stressful to most of our clients is finding suitable living for family members, getting real estate dealt with, whether there's tenant or personal property needs dealt with, handling, the affairs, not knowing what to do, and if other family members aren't being cooperative. And we have team members in place, from attorneys to CPAs to cleanout crews to contractors. We really focus on understanding the overall situation, and then we can decide who we can bring in that can help you. And sometimes that'll be me, sometimes that'll be other people on the team. But if you're ready to talk about what specifically is you need help with, then we can certainly step in and get you the help you need. If you're not, I understand, and we can call back. But it sounds to me like you're in a perfect candidate to benefit from a service we've built.
Would you be able to talk to the whole family together?
Yeah, that's actually my preference. I try to make sure everybody's part of every conversation.
And how do we do that? Because we're in multiple states and not everybody is available in the same time zone. Yeah,
I understand. Is everybody fairly tech savvy? Does everybody have a laptop? Or would you say not?
My brother and I, yes, but I don't think my sister is.
Okay. In that case, we'll just start with a conference call. Would your sister be able to manage dialing into a conference call?
Yes.
Okay. Well, in that case, what we'll do is there's a few things that I'll do to kind of do my homework, but I'll just set up a conference line, and if there's anything we need to review, I'll email everybody a PDF. Does your sister use email?
She does.
Okay. Well, then that'll work fine. I can just send a PDF of anything we might need to look at, and then we'll all get together on a conference call. How does Friday afternoon look? You think that's a good time for the family?
Yeah, maybe after 3.
Okay. 3 Pacific? 3 Pacific? Did your Bluetooth
3 Eastern.
disconnect? 3 Eastern. Okay. So I've got you on the calendar for 3 Eastern. I'll get everybody's email before we get off the call, and then I'll send the package out so we're all on the same page. Before I go though, do you mind answering a few questions so I can get a better idea of what your challenges are and how I can help?
Sure.
Okay, and I'll break script there. So I would then figure out, is the real estate, what is your plan for it, what are your biggest challenges, and how can I bring all my team members in to help you? And you engage with me, so I'll spend, you'll likely give me another 10 to 15 minutes to go deep enough where you really do trust me, and we'll do the appointment, and I'll be able to take a lot of this stuff off your plate.
Okay,
but
sounds good.
The idea, so what I want to underscore there is these people are, and we've talked about this on other calls, but these people have gotten calls from people they don't trust that had a pretty one-sided offer that they didn't see any value in. So they're immediately jumping into that pattern and saying, oh, she's just like the rest of them. Get the hell off the phone. And you just need to stop them. Like, you need to do something to be completely different than anyone else she's spoken to. So you got to be abrupt, and this is a challenging thing to teach because I don't know everybody's personality and personal values. For me, I try to go the goofy route unless they're being really abrasive and rude, and then I go the smart ass route. But it works. It's effective. Like I can if someone's being really abrasive, I can be a real smart ass and eventually get them to laugh at me. And that's how I bring it back. You might think that's unprofessional. It works for me. But you got to find a way to interrupt the pattern that works with your personality and not something you're wishy-washy about saying. You got to be comfortable saying it. So if you're not comfortable with the way I handled it, think about the way I handled it and then plug in your own language that would accomplish the same thing.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is that you have been bold and abrasive in some instances to interrupt that thought pattern and use it to your discretion.
Yep. And like in this instance, you said, we're not making any decisions until December. So I use that as the chink in your armor. I said, well, what do you mean decisions? So then all of a sudden I crossed your wires. You're like, what the hell does he mean decisions? I just said, and you start to disengage from your pattern, but you'll engage in a conversation with me. Now you might be even more abrasive for the next 5 or 10 seconds, but I'll disarm you as we get into that conversation. As long as you stay on the phone, I'll show you that I have good intentions, and I'm going to keep putting pressure on you if I think you're procrastinating and it's not in your best interest. And eventually we'll find ourselves in a friendly conversation just like we did on that role play.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Good job.
All right.
We're hearing that more and more. That's probably the most common thing that I help folks with today is we've got it handled. Our attorney's taking care of it. We're not making decisions. And it's because we're seeing competition now that we weren't 2 or 3 years ago.
And of course, Chad, we've talked about it many times. There's a lot of different ways to handle the we've got it handled, but it's the same thing. It's just they're trying to get you off the phone. And a classic example of what works there is, okay, great, so you've already made arrangements to change your insurance, and just shut up, because nobody does that. And we've talked about it. It's important. They may be in a position where if the property's been vacant for some time, they're not insured anymore and they don't even know it. So ask a question to disrupt their pattern, and there's a couple go-to ones. That one almost always works. Okay, great, you've already got your insurance handled. And there's a few like that, no matter what objection you get, that I've got it handled, I don't need your help, I don't need to deal with it right now. There's a few like that are, kind of multi-use objection handlers. And often it's not even so much an objection as it is they're just trying to get rid of you. They don't really know what they're objecting to other than the fact, like you said, that they're annoyed. If anybody on the call has come across somebody who was highly annoyed or abrasive, that would be a really good thing to role play with Chad also, because you are really good at that. All right, well, we didn't stump you yet, Chad. We got 2 more in the queue. Let's see who's up next. Phone number ending in 3179. You're up next.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hey, this is Dan. I'm over in D.C.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan from D.C.
All right. I got a role play. I guess I'll add some abrasiveness to it also.
Great. Good. Put the pressure on. Go ahead.
All righty. All right, I'm ready.
You're not even gonna warn me. You're gonna make me do this cold, huh? All right. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, I'm trying to reach Lieutenant Dan.
Who?
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, this is him. Who is this?
Hey Dan, this is Chad Corbett. I actually sent you a letter a few days ago. I had a couple minutes in the office today, so I wanted to follow up and make sure you got it and you understood why we sent it and see if you had any questions.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of letters. So I may have gotten it, maybe not. Either way, I'm not really even making any decisions. I don't have the letters of administration, and the attorney told me not to talk to nobody right now. So, but I'm super busy right now, so I really can't even talk about it.
Okay. Is tomorrow a better time?
No, I'll call you. I got your number here.
Which one did you get? Which number?
The one that's popping up on my caller ID here.
Yeah, that's just an outbound number. Can I give you an inbound number?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It's 555-1234.
Okay. Thank you.
And what I've got a busy schedule. What time should I expect your call, just so I know I'm free?
Like I said, man, I don't know how the letters. All y'all kind of. I don't even know how you got my number. How did you get this number?
Sorry, I was just pushing on you a little bit because I knew you were trying to get rid of me, Dan. So I can give you your space if that's what you want. I'll just tell you in 30 seconds or less. I'm only calling because I'm trying to help, and I know if I call early, I have a better chance of helping you do less and your attorney. And chances are I know your attorney because we work with all the attorneys in the area as part of what we do. So we've got a whole team of people that are assembled just to take the load off of your shoulders. You see value in that? I can call you back later, or you can call me back at the number I gave you. If you don't, we'll just part ways, and I'll leave you alone, and the other 50 people can give you a very one-sided offer that's pretty selfish compared to mine. What works best for you?
Like I said, look, I don't have the letters of administration, so we're not really doing anything right now. But I got your number, and
I get that, and we understand the process. I mean, a lot of attorneys, what we find, most attorneys tell you not to talk to anyone because they get a bunch of real estate agents that are aggravating the hell out of them. And they don't want that. They don't get paid any extra money. So they tell you to not talk to real estate agents or investors until they say so because they don't want to have to babysit. We're kind of the opposite of that. We work with attorneys. We complement what they do. And if you speak to your attorney and explain what we're offering, I'd say their tune will probably change. So we work with a lot of families that haven't been appointed yet, and we're not trying to get you to commit to anything. Like you certainly have the authority to have a conversation. I'm not asking you to sign anything or make any major decisions. Bottom line is, if we can understand your situation, I guarantee you we can take some pressure off of you and introduce you to people that'll make this a lot easier for you and your attorney. So if you want to have that talk, I can sit down for 15, 20 minutes on Friday. Otherwise, you can figure out how to do it on your own if you don't see value in working with us. I'm not trying to aggravate you. I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah.
You want to sit down for Friday for coffee?
Yeah, not right now. We're probably not gonna make a decision for the next couple months, but send me. I got your letter. Send me a letter, and I'll put it with the rest of the letters that I got.
Well, I'll leave it at this. You got a letter there that's probably different than the others. It's in a greeting card envelope, and it explains a little bit about what we do. If your scenario is like most people's, at some point you'll realize you should have probably engaged with me and talked and see what I might be able to do for you, because, by the way, it's free. So when you get to that point, hang on to that letter and give me a call, and we'll start from there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much for your time. So I would probably send you a handwritten letter following that phone call. Just so you had a new, fresh greeting card in case you'd already thrown that one away. I made 4 passes at you, and you were closed up every time. So I would probably sit down and write a handwritten letter about how we are really different. And do you happen to use any of the trifold brochures that we offer?
No, I haven't. I have a trifold. I have one similar to that I send
Okay.
over.
So any kind of marketing collateral that just goes a little bit deeper, or
Mhm.
you know, a probate website would be a good place. And just say, you know, man, listen, I think you might have I think I might have gotten someone else's reputation when we spoke. I just want to let you know that my intent is only to help you, and you decide how. I'm not telling you that I want to buy the house for 50 cents on the dollar, or that I need to be your listing agent. I'm just telling you, I'm here to listen and help you in any way I can. When you're ready to have that conversation, here's my card. And hope for the best. I mean, maybe he's aggravated. He'll throw that in the trash too, but that's about all you can do.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then, Chad, how long would you wait before you called somebody like that back with his attitude? And you know, he wasn't completely shutting you off. He was just trying to get rid of you. But you know, if you take that conversation, it sounded like he softened a little bit as you talked. So how soon would you call him back?
And what I was trying to do was just get him to break and show me something, and you didn't. You did a good job. I mean, you stuck to your guns. If you would have shown me any inkling of what's bothering you, then I could have figured out a way to help you, and I would find some value to follow up with. You didn't really give me that option, so I don't have a good reason to call you back other than just kind of hit the reset button and start a fresh conversation. You did give me some milestones, so you backed all the way up to 2 months on your fourth objection. You said we'll do something in a couple of months.
Mhm.
So I'd probably say, you know, I would send that handwritten letter explaining to you that, you know, that kind of it was unfair that you treated me like, you know, without getting a chance to know me, you treated me like I was not trustworthy. And then show them how that's not the truth. And then I would set him for a follow up maybe a month out. And I would call and say, hey, listen, we spoke for just 2 or 3 minutes. You probably remember that. It didn't go so well for either of us. And, you know, throw some humor in there and try to reopen the conversation in a month. The other thing that I might do is, you know, especially as you're building your attorney referral network, we're giving you the attorney information. So you need to go check and see who the attorney is and make sure that's one of your first, like if you really feel like this is a good deal, make sure that you're getting to know that attorney. And you might not even bring up, because you don't yet have a relationship with John Doe, you might not even bring that up. Just make it a general, you know, hey, listen, we can greatly compliment your business. Just wanted to introduce myself. And so go impress the attorney. So when it is time for that attorney to tell him to go call someone, it's likely you'll be at the top of that list. Or if he says, well, I got a call from this guy and someone named Dan, and he was relentless. It took me 5 minutes to get his ass off the phone. Oh, I know Dan. He was in here last week. So they can give you that that endorsement. And then when they find out you actually do know the attorney, or you actually are working with the attorneys, then you've got all the credibility you need. So I would, you know, send the handwritten letter to follow up, get them back in a month or so, and go after the attorneys to just increase your odds. Worst case scenario there, if the attorney's impressed with you, yeah, you'll get his next client.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Anything else?
Yeah. Thanks, Dan.
No, thank you.
All right. You're very welcome. We have one more person in the queue. We do have room for more. Just hit *6 and hit 1. And the next one up is phone number ending in 5284. You're up next.
Hi, this is Linda from Florida.
Hi, Linda.
Hi. This isn't a role play, but it's a question follow-up from the first question that was asked about making the calls.
Okay.
I had sent my letters out, and I had an ISA make my first round of phone calls. And they reached 3 people, 3 or 4. Am I supposed to be calling those people back, the ones that he couldn't reach that he left voicemails with? Or am I supposed to wait until next month when the second letter goes out?
So you used one of our ISAs, or you used your own?
I used your ISA.
Okay, so you got 3 or 4 phone appointments off of that.
Yes.
Did you get? Okay. So it really depends on your bandwidth. I mean, are you using the ISAs because you don't have time, or because you just weren't getting the calls made?
It's my first time. It's my first month, so I just decided to go with it.
Yeah, well, no, that's good. It sounds like you had a good result. I mean, typically, most folks, if you're going to use the ISA, you just, set it up so they call back the next month. So you're actually not making any calls in between. But we have people that do all sorts of different things. I mean, if you feel like you're stronger on the phones now and you're comfortable making the follow-up calls, then jump in there and do it. It's just going to save you money next month. So every time, for everyone you speak to and you rate as, you re-rate, then they won't get called in the next round of the ISA sequence. So if you speak to 10 people between now and the next time they make a round of calls, you save $25. So if you
also, Linda, Linda, I know. I'm sorry, Chad, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, just wanted to wrap it up. I mean, if you feel comfortable making your calls, that's always going to be best. The ISAs are there just in case you're not getting your calls made for whatever reason.
And Linda, I noticed your area code. You're in Central Florida, I'm assuming. What do you get? About 100? You get about 100 leads a month?
No, I got over 200.
Over 200. Okay, great. So the good thing, the advantage of the ISAs, if you look in the CRM there will be notes. So if they called 200 people, they probably eliminated maybe a third of them, that either sold the property, don't want to sell the property, have it listed already. So, at least, whether you call them back or they call back, your cost in both time and or expense is going to be less, the second round, because hopefully they narrowed it down to the ones that are interested. And so don't hesitate to look at those notes in the CRM. Typically, Chad, I think a couple days after the calls are made, the notes should be in there. So kind of go through there, and you can certainly, I would go through there and identify, they already identified the hot ones, but go through there and eliminate the ones that aren't interested, and that's who you're going to pick up the phone, and call the rest. Don't recall the ones they've already eliminated. Make sense?
Okay, so I need to go into the CRM and look at the notes for everyone else, not just the ones that I had my phone appointments with, and see who they eliminated, and it would be in the notes.
It would be in the notes, and then in the rating field. So in the list view, you'll see the rating of everybody, and you can sort by column.
Okay.
So anyone who's rated, if they've re-rated them, they've had a conversation with them. So just look at the rating and look at the notes, and anything that, any two-way dialogue will be noted, and they typically will be re-rated.
And you don't ever have to really delete anybody from but the ones that were rated low or didn't have an interest, you can check the box that says do not mail, do not call, and that, it's just a little less work for you to do if they've already been eliminated. But leave them in the database. You never know. Situation might change.
That's under the option status tab. So when you click into a specific record, if you look at the third tab to the right, it's option status, and you'll see exclude from calls, mail, email. And a lot of, there's a good chance they've already done that with many of them, that the ones that aren't, if they don't have real estate or they don't intend to sell it, they've probably already opted them out of calls. But anytime that you're speaking with people, be sure and use that option status tab, opt out. So that way it saves you money the next round. They're not calling those people.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Linda. We don't have anybody else in the queue. We certainly have more time. *6 and hit 1. If there's anybody that has something that they've used that's been particularly effective, we'd love to hear it. Something that's particularly challenging, jump in now. We do have someone else that jumped in. Thank you. So next up is phone number ending in 4618. You're up next. Sonia, that's you. Are you there? Hello, Sonia. I can hear you.
Okay, good. All right.
There you are.
So
now we can hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. I haven't made any calls yet, but and maybe this is in some of the training. I haven't, since I'm brand new, just a few days. It's just something that I think might come up. Like,
Sure.
So, yeah. Like, what if they say, well, "How did you get my number?"
Okay. Well, let's role play it. Chad will
Okay.
give you a call.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, I'm trying to reach Sonia.
Hi, this is her.
Hey, Sonia, this is Chad Corbett. I had sent you a letter a couple of days ago and just had some time to follow up. I just wanted to touch base and make sure you got it, you understood why we sent it, and see if you had any questions for me.
I don't recall getting a letter. What's it about?
Okay, well, no worries. You got even better. You got me on the phone. So I've got a team of professionals here in town that we help families that are going through the probate process. So pretty much anything that could be a stress to you and the family in that situation, we have an answer to. So we try to reach out early because we know we can make a big difference. And I was just calling to see if you had a few minutes to chat kind of about your situation, see what your biggest challenges are, and see how we might be able to help you out.
Oh, how did you get my number?
I've got people on my team that are way smarter than me. So we actually pull the public records, and then they find phone numbers on the internet. So somebody smarter than me gave me your phone number.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm a bit overwhelmed right now. I'm not sure how you could help me. I think I'm just trying to deal with everything.
I completely understand. That's how I would say 95% of these conversations start with us. So I'll just let you know, we don't have service fees or anything up front. I mean, our goal is to really understand your situation and see if there's anybody on our team that can make your life easier. What's been the toughest thing for you guys so far?
Well, just where to start, I guess. Yeah.
Well, here, I think I might have more experience with this than you. It sounds like this is probably your first time. Is that right?
Yes.
So most people are the most overwhelmed if there's real estate involved, because it's really difficult physically and emotionally to deal with getting homes empty and sold. Is that part of your problem? Do you guys have real estate that needs dealt with?
Yes, I mean, it's already empty, but it's like, do we fix it up? Do we just sell it as is? And, not sure what to do with that. Yep.
So that's one of the things we try to cover with each family. I mean, because there's usually an opportunity to create a lot more money for the estate if you guys have the time and the patience and you can trust our system. We have contractors. I mean, we can even set up lending for it. So we can help you completely renovate the home if you want. We can do light repairs, and we can show you the financial aspects of that. So I can say, typically we're going to bring multiple options to when we meet. So you can look at, here's what we can sell it for this week. Here's what we could sell it for in a 30-day time range, and here's what we could sell it for if we did a full-blown renovation and made it a showcase home. And we'll kind of go through all three of those scenarios with you, and you can decide, which one is best for you. I will say most people, because of the stress level you're already in, most people end up just selling, as is, or doing light repairs, not a full renovation. But we can certainly show you how to make. I mean, typically, if we do a full-blown renovation, you're probably going to make 20 to 25% more equity on the transaction. So it really comes down to what is most important to the family, time or money. Like, is it more important that you get this behind you, or is it more important that you get the most equity out of it to preserve the legacy and pass that on to other family members? And there's no right answer. It's different. Yeah. It's different for everybody.
Okay. Well, all the money's tied up in the house. I mean, we don't have the money to do it without,
Yeah, and that's common. I mean, there is an option, like we do make sure that we have contractors that can actually float invoices for up to 90 days. So if it's something, if you guys said, hey, Chad, we really need to squeeze every drop of equity out of this so we can pay for the kids' college, then we can get that contractor to the table and see if we can get him to carry the invoice until closing. They'll just simply put a mechanics lien on the house and submit the invoice to escrow. And that's something we don't charge. You know, there's no interest. It's just because of our relationship with our contractor, we're able to provide that as kind of an added service, and you don't pay any more for it. It's just a big benefit of working with people people who are pre-vetted. So it all kind of starts with us, really having a conversation as a group, like, and you haven't said, but I assume there's other decision makers. I mean, who do you feel like
right.
should be part of these conversations?
Yeah, I need to talk to my brother and my sister about it.
Okay, so where I would like to start is if is everybody here in town, or are you guys spread out? We're
in different states.
Okay, so how about we just start with a conference call on Friday evening? Well, maybe that works, but Friday evening or Monday evening, I'll let you choose. We'll all three get on the phone and kind of talk about the initial, have the initial conversation, and then we'll start to figure it out from there.
Well, I need to check with them and see if that either one of those times would work, and then I can give you a call back.
I'll tell you what, I'm not the easiest guy to get on the phone, so I'm going to go ahead and give you one of the spots. Would you want to pick Friday or Monday for a tentative spot?
Okay. Will you confirm with me?
Sure. What we'll do, I mean, if you say Monday, if I don't hear from you before Monday, then I'll be on the line waiting.
Okay.
But if you have to move it, that's no big deal. I'm on the phone constantly, so while you've got me, I'd like to at least give you guys a tentative spot. And if we have to move it, it's no big deal.
Okay. All right. I guess Friday would be better.
Okay. So I'll do Friday at, what do you think, 5:30? Does that give everybody a chance to get off work and get to a phone?
Yeah, it should. I hope so.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, but just so I can do my homework and be prepared for it, I mean, you got a couple minutes to answer a few questions for me?
Okay.
And then I'm gonna stop there. That's where I would go into asking you the specifics about the house, the finances, the people, the situation, and everything else that we teach. And the probate seller interview sheet, if you haven't downloaded that, in step 3 of fast track training, there's the probate seller interview sheet. And that's kind of a linear representation of the way I would take the conversation. So you can print that off and listen to a couple of these archived role play calls, and you'll get a feel for, where we're going with the conversation from there. A couple things I want to point out. Like, you push back on me. Almost every executor does this. You push back and said, well, I got to talk to my brother and sister first. So I went for a tentative appointment, and I even made it less threatening by giving you 2 days to choose from. That's pretty rare for me. I don't usually do that. But you were kind of closing up. So I gave you 2 days, and I said, you're going to have to pick one because I'm incredibly hard to reach. So I want you to respect my time, pick a spot, and then that gives it more value. I've never lost a tentative appointment. They always show up.
Oh.
Because after you commit and I get it in the calendar, we're going to spend the next 15 minutes, and you're going to realize I'm going to offer you more than you ever expected. I'm going to offer you I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, but I'm also going to show you why I'm asking you those and show you the value that we can bring to the table. And you're going to be excited to meet with me on Friday evening because I'm going to offer things that no one else has. And that's why I went a little bit deeper on the renovation possibility, because I highly doubt anyone else has made any similar offer. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
I was going to add too, Sonia, that Chad is very self-effacing and kind of humble, and the way he answered that I've got people way smarter than me doing that. That's a good answer for him. It's comfortable. We do hear quite a few people ask us, like, how did you get your number? And to me, when they say that, it kind of tells you that nobody else is calling them. So, being self-effacing is great. You could also say, I tell people, just be honest. I've got a team of people that go down to the courthouse and get the information, and then they do a really good job going online and finding phone numbers. And I used to say to people, I promise I'll do just as good a job helping you with whatever you need help with as I did finding you, because chances are you may be the only one that found them. They probably aren't saying that if they're getting a lot of calls. So that's kind of a good indication that you don't have a lot of competition. So I would take that as an invitation. A lot of agents kind of get paralyzed by it, but just be honest. You know, my team goes down and we're your team, gets that information. We do a good job of finding it online, and we'll do just as good a job of helping you as we did finding your information. I found that to be effective. There's no one way to answer it, but be honest that, you know, it's information that's available online, and, you know, that's how we found you. And it is a good indication that you probably don't have a lot of competition more often than not.
Those are really good points, and I'll say something from my past, and thanks for bringing that back to the top, Jim. I kind of went down a rabbit hole, but try not to engage with questions like that. Like what I did was just quickly deflected it, and you accepted that. Some people, especially engineer-type people, won't always accept it that easily. They'll keep pushing on you. And don't get wrapped around the axle trying to figure out the right fib to tell them. Just deflect and say things like that. That's why I fell on my sword, because it's like, you know, it's effective for me. But even if they come back and say, well, it wasn't on the court record, I want to know what website you used. Just deflect it and be like, you know, even if I want, I don't have it. Like my assistant did it. Is it more important, or is it like, can we move forward? But if they try to rope you back into it, just find a way to deflect it. But typically, what we've discussed will get you by it 99% of the time. Just listen.
Great.
I've got people on my team that take care of that, and really, you do. I mean, we're part of your team, and we got the phone number for you. We are your researcher.
Great. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have. Thank you. Great participation. Great questions, Sonia. Thank you. We have one more person in the queue today, and that would be. We do have room for one or two more, but otherwise, phone number ending in 3179. You may be our last up this week.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Hello.
You're up.
Hey, it's Dan again.
Hey, Dan again.
Yeah, so I was answering your question. You said anybody had any input, or I think that's what you said. One that I use I have a statement and then a question. So the first statement would be when they ask me, sometimes they'll ask me, how'd you get my number? I've been doing probates for about 3 or 4 years. So one of the good ones that I'll say it's pretty similar to what you guys just said. So I'll usually say my head researcher pointed out that you were recently selected as a personal representative in the estate. And then they go, now if they're like you just said, if they're like digging deeper than that, like if they don't accept that, then most of the time they do. They go, oh, okay. And then I just keep it moving. But if they dig deeper than that, well, you didn't really answer my question. Right. Well, great. What we do is once the petition for probate is filed, my head researcher goes down to the courthouse and points out those that were recently selected as personal representative. Sometimes our clients want to sell. Sometimes they don't. Either way is 100% okay with us. We just like to know if there's a need or desire to sell, or if there are any questions that you can answer, that we can answer for you. That's kind of how we phrase it.
That's excellent, and that is so effective. You're giving them permission to not do business with you, and that also takes the pressure off them, and they realize they have the option to do business with you if they want to. That's a really good way to phrase it, and that's great.
We always do that. Sometimes they want to sell, sometimes they don't. Either way is 100% okay with us. We just want to see if there's a need or a desire, or if there are any questions that we can answer, and then they usually talk. So my question was, what's a good way when we're talking about letters of administration? As far as we don't have the letters of administration yet. I didn't really hear a good or maybe you said it and I didn't hear the objection for specifically. I don't have the letters of administration yet because I've taken listings when they didn't have the letters of administration, but I did it by accident, and I don't know what I did.
Let's close with that role play. Give that one to Chad. Chad, call him, please.
Let's jump in at the point where that would normally come up is where I've asked you for an appointment. So I'll just jump to that point. So, Dan, listen, I've got a spot on Friday at 3. Do you think that would be a good time for us to get together and kind of talk about your situation?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't do anything right now because I'm still waiting for the court to send me the letters of administration. Once they do, then I'm gonna meet with everybody at the same time.
Okay. So have they already had the hearing and you're just waiting on the official letter, or are you waiting? Do you have a hearing date?
No, we had the hearing. So I'm just waiting on I'm waiting for the court to sign off on it and for them to send it to me.
Yeah. Okay. Is this the first time you've ever been an administrator?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that a lot of our clients kind of have the same concerns, and a lot of times even the attorneys tell you guys not to, don't do anything. And it's usually because, how can I say it, less than professional people in the real estate field usually aggravate the hell out of those attorneys. So we actually, we work with the attorneys, and our service is built really to complement their service and serve you. Ultimately, everything's pointed back at trying to take stress away from you. So a lot of times when the attorneys find out about the kind of the full scope of what we do, they push us to you guys early. Like they actually say, you need to talk to this team. And with us, I mean, if you want to sign something, I'll bring something for you to sign. But for me, it's most important that we just meet and understand your situation. And then by the time you get the letters, you'll know what your options are, and then you'll be in a position of authority to actually sign something if you want to. So that's the reason we reach out early, is because typically the quicker we can get involved, the less stressful it is for you, and the more equity we can get out of the asset. Oftentimes 80% of wealth is held in real estate. So if we can get a home, we have property preservation crews that can make sure the home's cared for. We make sure that we get insurance in place, because most executors don't know that the home doesn't have insurance if it's sitting vacant. Is that something that your attorney has discussed with you?
No.
So is there real estate in the estate? Any structures?
Yeah.
Have they been vacant for more than 30 days?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and you haven't put a specific vacant policy on those structures, right?
No, I didn't even know I had to do that.
Yeah, so that is just one example, but you've got an uninsured asset that's sitting there. You didn't know about it. Your attorney must not know about it. It's just one of the things we see that's common, and you've never been through this. It's not your fault. You don't know what you don't know. But kind of think of what I'm offering is, so the attorney is they're going to handle the legal aspects, and you're expected to handle everything else. We're kind of the bridge between you two. So we kind of pick up where the attorney leaves off, and we do as much as we can on your behalf. We can't do everything. I mean, you're the administrator. Some of it, ultimately, it comes down to you, but our team can help you. And like in many cases, like for example, we can make sure the lawn is mowed, the hedges are trimmed, that utilities are on, that the home is cleaned out and shows as best it can, and eventually get it on the market and sell it, whether that's in a week or in a month, or completely renovate it. I mean, but we just kind of do all the things that you're required to. But instead of going out and finding all these people to help you, we're a one-stop shop. We've got everything right here at your disposal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from meeting with us. I'm not going to ask you to commit to anything you're not in a position to, but I think it's in your best interest to go ahead and sit down with us so you at least know your options. And worst case scenario, I mean, you've gotten 2 or 3 hours of my time, which I'm going to give you a complete market absorption analysis on the property, which is debatably more valuable than an appraisal. It's just a comparison approach. So I could say that that's worth $500 in itself. But the real value is just knowing that there's somebody here that can help really in any way that you need it. I mean, all the way down to helping you reinvest the money once this is all done. We make sure that you never go through this again. So we sit you down with our family law attorneys, and we give you the opportunity to put together an estate plan so no one else ever has to be in the position you're in. So would Friday at 3 be a good time to sit down and have that talk?
Man, Friday at 3 would be amazing.
Do it.
Great job, Dan. I was going to add, that's all extremely good wording, good, very effective. Just a shorter version. When I had people that would tell me, my attorney said the probate's not going to be completed for a few months, I used to say to them, okay, great. So did you want to be getting ready to close in October, or you just want to be getting started then and maybe close next year? They said, well, what do you mean? Well, we can go ahead and take care of a lot of the things that need to be done prior to closing, possibly even finding a buyer, and then when the attorney's done with the probate, we can go ahead and close on it. I mean, which would you prefer? Closing in October or maybe January, February? And because a lot of these people really don't understand that they, in most cases, they have the authority to get the process started. They just don't have the ability to transfer title until the probate's completed.
Right.
Right. And by the way, did you ever see the movie Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
Because that's what he was referring to you as Lieutenant Dan. And that's where. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure you got that. I think that's Chad's favorite movie. So I think that's a compliment. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Now. This is something that's always kind of perplexed me. Once they filed the petition for probate, that without receiving the letters of administration. Like I said, I've done it before. I've taken a listing before the letter of administration, but it took me a while to build up immense rapport to where they were able to do it. I've only done it a couple of times, but I want to do it more. I want to do it more often. So once they filed the petition for probate, does the petition serve as some type of authority for them to sign the listing agreement in lieu of receiving the letter of administration?
So my interpretation of the law is that it does not. So now the question I ask you is, are we already past the hearing? And you said yes. So in that case, I would change my opinion. But if you haven't been to the hearing and the judge hasn't officially ruled and said, Dan is the administrator of this estate, then I don't believe you have the authority to sign a listing agreement. If that has happened and you're just waiting on a letter to come in the mail, then I think you have the authority. Like if you went to a court date and it's on record that you were appointed as the administrator, then you have the authority. You might not have the paper in hand yet, but you have been granted that power. So if you are going to sign a contract of any kind, including a listing agreement, just make sure that they've at least been to that hearing and been appointed as the administrator. Otherwise, it's not a valid contract.
Right. Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Does that help?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Cool bean.
Great call, and we are ending at exactly 1 hour. We are very timely today, guys. I really appreciate it. I always like to end these calls the same way by thanking everybody. We had a great turnout. Thank everybody who showed up. You stayed right to the end. Thank you so much to the people who actively participated. And I want to challenge you to take one idea, one thought, one thing you heard on today's call, go out and try it, and come back next Thursday, actually tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, and every Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, and share it with our mastermind group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.